Hello everyone, this is Darshita Singh and today we are going to learn Life Process in Plants Class 7th NCERT Chapter 10. This chapter revolves around how plants grow, how do they obtain nutrients, how do they sustain their life and how do they breathe. So this chapter is I'm going to divide this chapter into two parts because this is a lengthy chapter. So in this part we are going to cover till experiment 10.4 and some concept of photosynthesis and some fascinating facts at last. Now let's start by knowing how do plant grow. So plant also just like animal they show some noticeable changes like emergence of leaves, increase in height, thickening of stem. These are the indicators that plants are growing. Now, plants are motivated by some of the factors that include water, sunlight, etc., which help them to grow. Now, let's learn the role of water and sunlight through an experiment. In this experiment, you have to take three potted plants, A, B, C. Then the first plant is kept under the direct sunlight and is being regularly being watered, so it has both sunlight and water. The second pot B, it only has sunlight, there is no water. And the pot C is in dark and but it is regularly watered. So after few days, so what you have to observe in it, the growth of plant, the color of leaves or the number of leaves over 2 weeks. So over 2 weeks, what you will observe that the pot A, it has the maximum growth. Pot B will die because there is no water. And pot C will have growth but significantly less than pot A because it does not have water. So less growth. So what we have learned in this particular experiment, what we have concluded, that sunlight and water both are necessary for proper growth of plant. Now let's learn. This is an Indian text, Vriksha Ayurved. Vriksh means tree. So an Ayurved which is related to Vriksh. This is an Indian text. It contains observation and practices of how plant grow, what are the soil types, some of the agricultural practices used in India in ancient times. Okay, so what we have learned till now is how do plants grow. In this we have learned that they show some noticeable changes like thickening of stem or emergence of leaves or increase in height as an indicator of growth. Next, we have learned about one experiment 10.1 or activity 10.1, in which we took three pots. I'm not going to explain the whole experiment again, but the conclusion is that both sunlight and water is necessary for photosynthesis or for synthesization of food, for food production of plants, for plant growth, kuch bhi keh lo. Okay, so now let's learn how do plant get food for their growth. Plants are very different from animals. Animals consume their food from plants only. You have already learned, I guess, the concept of autotroph and heterotroph. Basically, autotrophs are the animals. This is not in your curriculum. I guess sixth में पढ़ाते हैं ये सब. This is not in your curriculum in seventh. But autotrophs, general knowledge के लिए, autotrophs are organism that make their own food, just like plants and some algae, bacteria. Uh, Heterotrophs are the animals or organisms that are dependent on autotrophs or someone else for their food consumption or consume food that are made by someone else. Okay, so plants are autotrophs. So they are different from heterotrophs, and heterotrophs are we humans. We humans are heterotrophs. So my whole thing that I want to explain here is that plant and animal both are different when it comes to consumption of food. Plant have leaves, which are specialized organs for food production. They are also known as food factories. Food is also stored in form of starch, which is a carbohydrate. Leaf, if we talk about its structure, then मेरी drawing उतनी अच्छी है नहीं, but still, if we talk about the structure of leaf, then it has this kind of structure which has a flat and broad surface which allows sunlight absorption. It also has a green color, green pigment present. The green pigment present is known as chlorophyll. Okay, now experiment 10.2. This experiment shows the presence of starch in leaves. We'll see the presence is actually there or I'm just faking. So let's do this. You have to take a leaf, boil it for 5 minutes. Then the boiled leaf will be dipped in alcohol. Then again you have to boil the leaf. The leaf will be decolorized. The decolorized leaf will be tested in iodine solution. And if it turns blue black, then it indicates that there is starch which is present there. Why do we need decolorization here? Is because decolorization will allow us to clearly observe the color change. अगर green रहेगा, then color change will not be observed अच्छे से. So we'll decolorize it so that we can observe those color change patterns easily. Okay. Now experiment 10.3. This experiment will allow us to clarify the role of chlorophyll and sunlight. Okay. So you have to take two potted plants A and B. लिखा नहीं हुआ है but I am naming it as A and B. This first plant is you have to keep it in sunlight. The second you have to keep it in dark. Then pluck a leaf from both the अपना ये plant. Mark the green part and the non-green part. The green part are the ones that contain chlorophyll or the non-green are ones जिसमें chlorophyll नहीं है. So you have to mark the green part in the same leaf and the non-green part in the same leaf. ऐसे ही दोनों leaf में you have to do. Then conduct an iodine test on it. Now what you'll observe here is the plant which is kept in sunlight, the green patches that you have marked will turn blue black. Here in the image you can see. But on the other hand, the plant which is kept in dark, there will be no color change. Even on the green part of the plant, there will be no color change. Why? Because there is no production of starch due to lack of sunlight. So what we have learned here is that chlorophyll and sunlight both are essential for starch formation. Okay. And the green patches contain chlorophyll, and these green patches which contain chlorophyll are the sites of starch synthesis or food production. Okay, so we have learned that experiment 10.2 पहले क्या था उसमें था कि you have to take हाँ you have to decolorize leaf basically alcohol वाला experiment था starch test in which we have observed that starch is present. Starch is the byproduct of photosynthesis. Okay, next in experiment 10.3 we have observed that the leaf colored blue black. So sunlight and chlorophyll these two are essential for photosynthesis. Okay, now let's do experiment 10.4. Experiment 10.4 is about testing carbon dioxide in air, which is essential for photosynthesis or not. So in this experiment, you have to keep a potted plant and then pluck a leaf from it. Prepare a bottle of caustic soda, insert that leaf, half of the leaf inside the bottle and half of the leaf outside it. Then the whole setup will be kept under the sunlight for a few hours. Then you have to plug that leaf from that bottle, detach that leaf from the bottle, remove perform an iodine test on it. And what you will observe here is that the part which is outside the bottle will, the part which is outside the bottle will turn blue black. Why? Because it has access to sunlight, it has access to water, it has access to chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, and hence photosynthesis process have taken place and starch is formed. But on the other hand, the part of leaf which was inside the bottle, it does not have blue black color because there is no starch. And why there is no starch? Because of the caustic soda. Why caustic soda? Because caustic soda has the ability to absorb carbon dioxide, and if there is no carbon dioxide here, then the photosynthesis process will not occur. So everything is present here, even the sunlight was present, even the water was present, but still carbon dioxide was not present, so starch is not formed under inside the bottle. So what we have concluded here is that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, so from all these experiences, from all these activities, we've concluded that sunlight, water, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, these are the components of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis की primary sites are leaves. Leaves are also known as food factories of plants. And how do they synthesize food? They take in carbon dioxide, use water, sunlight, chlorophyll, and produce food. Now, some fascinating facts. So, there are leaves which are violet, red, brown, and other pigment. They do have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll doesn't always need to be green. They can show other colors as well, like red, violet, brown. And they also have photosynthesis. They also perform photosynthesis. And if we'll test them if we perform iodine test on the leaves, there will be presence of starch. The leaf will turn blue black. So what we have learned till now, we have learned experiment 10.4 here about the caustic soda experiment, that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Then we have learned about the photosynthesis experiment. Also, I forgot to mention this. This is an equation. This is the word equation for photosynthesis. So let me write it here again. Um, Photosynthesis is carbon dioxide plus water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives glucose, or you can say starch, or कुछ भी कह लो, glucose लिख रही हूँ मैं. Glucose plus oxygen. Oxygen is the byproduct here. Okay, so this is what we have learned. Thank you, and the next part will be uploaded later. Thank you so much.